Hello there and welcome back to Max World. This is Sachin sir, and in today's lecture we are going to start with new lesson, that is circle. Circle is nothing but collection of points right at the brim, and all these points are equidistant from a fixed point which is exactly lying at the center from here. So from center, every point which is present on the circle is at equidistant, correct? So in short we can say circle is a geometrical figure in which all the points in the same plane are equidistant from a fixed point. For this circle, there are certain concepts that we must understand, like radius, diameter, chord, tangent, secant, and many more. Let's have a look at this video and try to understand and comprehend all these concepts.
Let's begin with the radius. We all know that this point over here, O, is called as center of the circle. Now, a segment joining center of a circle and any point on the circle. Let's consider that point as P. So segment OP will be considered as a radius. I repeat again, a segment joining center of a circle and any point on the circle is called as radius of the circle, and keep it in mind, without radius you cannot draw the circle. Okay, radius is nothing but the measure of the circle, you can say. After that, let's try to understand what is the meaning of chord. A segment joining any two points on the circle, any 2 points. Let's say point AB is joined. Okay, so this segment AB is called as chord of the circle. Even this over here too, segment CD is called as a chord of the circle, and even segment, you can say XY2 is called as chord of the circle. Now, but the difference is, see, AB, CD and XY, these all three are chord of the circle, but chord XY passes through center. The moment chord passes through center, it is called as diameter. So we can say diameter is a special type of chord that passes through center. For definition, you can say a segment joining any 2 points on the circle is called as chord, and the chord which passes through center is called as diameter. Okay, always keep it in mind, diameter is the longest chord in a circle. Now let's try to understand the secant. Secant is a line, guys. See, all these, for first 3 terms we used segment, but now for secant we are going to utilize line. See, over here, line L intersect the circle in 2 points, correct? We can name it anyhow. See, but this over here are 2 points which are intersected by line L. So line L becomes secant. Okay, and now a very important concept, guys, that is a tangent. Okay, tangent too is a line, but this time instead of a intersecting circle, tangent only touches the circle at any point. So let's say this line over here, line M can be said, yes, line M touches the circle at only one point, that is Y, and so this line M becomes the tangent. Okay, now I can explain you one more time. See, check out over here, this is let's say line Z. Yes, line Z2 over here is touching the circle at only one point, that is P, and so line Z is also called as tangent. Okay, so I think so we are pretty clear with the basic terms. Radius, it means that segment joining center of the circle and any point on the circle. Chord and diameter means segment joining any 2 points on the circle, but diameter passes through center, and keep it in mind. Secant is a line, tangent is also line, but secant intersect the circle at 2 points, yes, and tangent only touches the circle at 1 point. Okay, now
here is the circle on the screen. O is the center of that circle, and we have to identify radius, diameter and chord from this circle. Always keep it in mind, a segment joining any 2 points in the circle is called as a chord. So accordingly we can say AB, CF, AD, EC, these all segments are nothing but chord present in that circle. Diameter is also a chord, keep it in mind. Diameter is the largest chord present in the circle. So we can say AB and CF are there in the chord section also and in diameters section also, correct. Now let's have a look at radii present in the circle. All the radius will begin their name with the center, that is point O. So we can say, yes, observe the diagram and try to figure it out. Yes, OB, OC, OA, OF, these all are nothing but radii present in that circle. So these are the basic concepts. Let's try to understand the relationship between radius and diameter now. As you know, a radius is always half of the diameter. Keep it in mind. If you want to find the radius and the diameter is given to you, you just have to divide the diameter by 2 and there you are with the radius, right? Diameter is always twice or a double of the radius. That means if radius is given and you need to find the diameter, at that time we are going to multiply radius by 2 and we'll get the answer for the diameter. Now students, let's try to understand the concept of circumference of circle. Circumference of a circle is nothing but perimeter of circle, or we can say total length of a circle is called as a circumference. To understand it in better manner, so let's have this complete circle, and now if I want to calculate the circumference of this circle, again I'll put a meter tape. I will wrap it around this circle, hold it firmly so that the meter tape will remain at the proper position. Yes, and I can say that 81 centimeter is the length, total length of this circle. But each time whenever I need to find the circumference, I cannot just roam along with this meter tape, isn't it right? So there has to be some relation between this circumference, this diameter and radius. So let's try to find out the relation between this circumference and diameter and see what we can find out. Here we go. Okay, so very first I'm going to calculate the circumference of each and after that diameter, and let's see what relation can be made by us then after counting it. So we have very first 17.2 as its circumference and diameter is 5.4 almost. So boys and girls, the circumference that we calculated was 17.2. I need to find the ratio, that means I need to divide this 17.2 that is circumference by diameter, which was calculated as 5.4, right? And the moment you find the answer of it, you will get the value 3.18. Presently over here, if we try to find the circumference, we will get the value somewhat 32, right? If you can observe it, 32. And if we try to find the diameter, then we will get the value, it is 10.1, right? And the moment you try to find the ratio of it by dividing 32 by 10.1, you will get the answer 3.16, and again it is near about 3.1 somewhat, right? Now let's try to find the circumference of this smallest one that is with us, and we get the value of circumference as almost 13.5, if you can count it, right? 13.5. And if you try to find the diameter of it, you will come to know that the value is little bit more than 4.2, that is 4.25 can be taken, right? So we can say 4.25 is the diameter of the smaller one, and now if you divide this circumference, that is 13.5, and the diameter 4.25, you get the answer 3.17. So in short, we have 3.16, 3.18 and 3.17 as an answer. Completing this activity, we can say that the ratio of circumference to diameter or relation of circumference to diameter each time is nothing but little more than 3 point something, right? So this, when you carry out more of this activity, you will come to know that this value is nothing but 3.14 and so on. Mathematicians have taken this value as 3.14, and if we take it in a ratio format, it is nothing but 22 upon 7. So this relation, circumference to diameter, is given by a Greek letter that is called as pi, and this pi is nothing but, I mean to say numerically, it is written as 22 upon 7 or 3.14. Whenever in the question the value of a pi is not given, we have to consider it as 22 upon 7 and so on. So let's summarize the formulae that we came across in this lesson. Presently we know we have two formulae for the circumference. Number one is C equals to pi d. How I got the formula? It was C upon d equal to pi. So shift that d to the other side of the equality, that goes in multiplication, and there we come with the new formula, that is C equal to pi d. Now the formula is C equal to 2 pi r. Now from where I got this formula? Yes, of course, in C equal to pi d, the value of a d is nothing but double of the radius, that is 2r. So remove that d and write it as 2r, and so just shuffle the formula, shuffle the numbers, we can get 2 pi r equal to circumference. So in this manner we have two formulae for circumference, and previously we learnt two basic formulae of the circle, that is d equals to 2 into r and r equals to d divided by 2, that is the diameter divided by 2. And let's move on to solve with it. The first question of this exercise, table given to us, and in that table radius, diameter and the circumference are mentioned, and accordingly I need to find the missing values. This is the first question on the board. The question says radius 7 is given to us and I need to find diameter and the circumference. So how will we proceed further? We know that the basic formula, if I want to find the diameter, then of course I'm going to multiply radius by 2. So here is the formula on the screen. Substitute the value, we get d equals to 2 into 7, and we know even a child can multiply it, right? 7 to the 14, so diameter is 14. Now as we have value of radius also and value of diameter also with us, we can apply any formula to find the circumference of a circle. But as radius is given in the question, so proceed further with the formula in which radius is given, right? So circumference equal to 2 into pi into r, the way we are looking on the screen. Substitute the values, we get C equals to 2 into 22 upon 7 multiplied by 7. Why? Radius, value of radius is 7. Now if you observe this, always keep it in mind, as all terms are in multiplication, 2 into pi into radius, so we can cancel out the numbers in the denominator and the numbers in the numerator. मैंने बोला कि अगर मेरे पास सारे के सारे नंबर मल्टीप्लिकेशन में अवेलेबल होते हैं, 2 into pi into r, that is radius, right? तो मैं कैंसलेशन कर सकता हूं डिनोमिनेटर एंड द न्यूमरेटर के नंबर्स में. सो न्यूमरेटर के नंबर, इट डजंट मीन दैट ओनली 22. यू कैन कैंसल आउट विथ 2 also if possible. You can cancel out with 7 also if possible. So over here 7 and 7 can be cancelled out, right? So what we are left with, 7 divided by 7, answer is 1. So if we write it or not, it doesn't matter. So we are left with 2 into 22, and again child's game, right? C equals to 44, and that makes my final answer, correct? So if you remember the second question of the table, you will come to know that diameter is given to me, the way you are looking on the screen, that is 28, and I need to find radius and the circumference, correct? Again the basic formula, diameter is given, radius I need to find. So radius equals to, yes, d divided by 2. एक शॉर्टकट बताता हूं मैं आपको. अगर मुझे रेडियस निकालना है, करेक्ट, मतलब डायमीटर दिया रहेगा, सो डी डायमीटर डिवाइड का भी डी, सो डी डिवाइड बाय 2, ये जो रिदम आता है उसको हमेशा याद रखना, डी डिवाइड बाय 2. तो इससे क्या होगा, तुमको मेमोराइज करने के लिए ज्यादा तकलीफ नहीं होगी. सो व्हाट आई सेड फॉर द डायमीटर्स डी एंड द डिविजन्स डी, डी डी, yes, it is very rhythmatic. So what you are going to do, radius equals to d divided by 2. Try to memorize it in this manner and too quickly, right, so that your brain will catch it easily. So what we have radius equals to d divided by 2, that is 28 divided by 2, and if you divide it, we know radius equals to 14, right? As diameter is given to me, the way I told you, we will proceed further with the formula in which diameter is there for the circumference, right? What is that formula? Yes, it is C equal to pi d. Substitute the values, what we get? Would we get, yes, 22 upon 7 into 28. The way I told you, as all numbers are multiplication, pi into d, we can cancel out denominator and the numerator or the number which is in multiplication with it, right? So 27 table we get 28 at which place? Yes, 4. So what I'm going to do, that 7 and 28 cancel out, that gives the result 4, and we are left with C equals to 22 into 22 into 4, and that makes my answer of the circumference as 88. I hope I'm making it little sense to these questions and it is becoming easier for understanding, right? Here we go with the third question of the table. Question is, circumference is given to me. This time, yes, little tricky. 616, and diameter and the radius both I need to find. Here we will, for this sum in which circumference is given, we will always find diameter first because it becomes very easy to find diameter. So proceed further with the formula. First of all, circumference equals to pi d. Yes, substitute the value and that makes it 616 equals to 22 upon 7 into diameter. Now, yes, here is the tricky part. Very first, that 616 and the d, write it as it is, okay. That 7 in the denominator which is there on the RHS goes to the LHS, that is left hand side, in the multiplication with 616. Why in the multiplication? Because that 7 on the RHS is present in the denominator, that is in the division. So when it changes the equality, it goes in multiplication, correct? Always keep it in mind. मैंने कहा कि जो 7 डिनोमिनेटर में प्रेजेंट है, ओके, वो आरएचएस में डिवीजन में है एक्चुअली. सो जब वो शिफ्ट होगा इक्वालिटी के दूसरी ओर, वो जाएगा मल्टीप्लिकेशन में. किसके साथ मल्टीप्लिकेशन में जाएगा? जो भी नंबर एलएचएस में प्रेजेंट रहेंगे उन सबको, ओके. एंड उसको न्यूमरेटर में लिखना पड़ेगा, भूलना नहीं. और वो जो 22 है न्यूमरेटर का, दैट 22 प्रेजेंट इन द न्यूमरेटर मस्ट बी रिटन इन द डिनोमिनेटर, दैट मेक्स इट इन द डिवीजन. क्यों डिनोमिनेटर में लिखना है मुझे उसको? क्योंकि वो 22 डी के साथ, दैट इज डायमीटर के साथ मल्टीप्लाई में था, तो जब वो शिफ्ट होगा इक्वालिटी के दूसरी ओर, दैट इज एलएचएस में, तो उसे जाना है डिवीजन के अंदर. डिवीजन में जाना है मतलब क्या? उसको लिखना है मुझे डिनोमिनेटर में. Isn't it right? Yes. Keep it in mind always. After that, observe the numerator and the denominator part. We have 616, we have 22, right? So very first, let's try and divide this 616 by 22. Here is the table of 22. Yes, 22 is divisor, so must be written outside the division structure, and 616 will be inside. So what we have in the first two numbers? Yes, it makes it 61. First two numbers in 22's table, do we have 61? No, but less than that, yes, it is present. That is 44. So which place? 2's are correct. So 22 2's are 44. It goes in subtraction, right? 2 in the quotient, and the moment you subtract it, we get the answer 17. Correct. Now the next 6 of 616, that is last 6, okay, must be taken down. That makes the number 176. And do we have 176 in the table of 22? Yes, it is 8's are, right? So 8 will be written in the quotient, 176 subtraction, that makes the remainder 0. So in short, when 616 is divided by 22, we get the answer 28, and that makes 28 into 7 equals to diameter, and after carrying out the multiplication we get the answer 196. Isn't it easy? Yes, why not? After finding the diameter, it is time to find the radius, right? What we have? Yes, radius equals to d divided by 2, dd, the arithmetic. Radius equals to d divided by 2. Okay, substitute the value 196 divided by 2, and the moment you carry out the operation, that is division, see, dividing any number by 2 is nothing but making it half, okay, and the half of 196 is nothing but 98, and therefore radius is 98. And in this way we have completed 3 sums of this table. The fourth sum is a special sum in which the decimal point is present, right? But it is enough for today. We will carry out the remaining sum of the exercise tomorrow. Till then, you practice all these sums thoroughly, and if you have any doubt, do not forget to drop it down in the comment section below. Till then, see ya, bye bye.